all set up. Okay. Well, hello everyone. My name is Levin, and I'm so honored to be one of the patient ambassadors speaking tonight for the Shriners Children's Portland 100-year anniversary gala. Shriners Children's has completely changed my life in ways that cannot possibly be summed up in a short speech. However, I'm going to do the best I can to illustrate the amazing things that this organization has done for me. I was 13 when I was first diagnosed. I was getting checked out for scoliosis at my primary doctor's office when they noticed something was off. Wanting to make sure that I was getting seen by the right people, my doctor recommended I go to Shriners Children's Portland. So later that month, we went across the bridge and drove up to the hospital. For all I had known, I just had a mild case of scoliosis. At that moment, I had no idea how monumental the next 2.5 years of my life would be. I was brought to the radiology department where they got my x-rays, and immediately they knew what was up with me. Sherman's kyphosis, they told me. Who's Sherman? I remember thinking. They explained it thoroughly. The doctor sat me down and told me everything I needed to know and answered every question I had. Through puberty, I had a massive growth spurt that caused my spine to wedge and curve forward, causing me to look hunched all the time. I had always hated how my back looked, and I and everyone around me always chalked it up to bad posture. And for years, that was the narrative I had led myself to believe. To hear from a professional that I wasn't just slouching and that there was an actual explanation beyond video games causing your bad posture was comforting, to say the least. What went from a 30-minute appointment turned into a 3.5-hour explanation that was fully needed for me to be able to process everything that was just dropped on me. Shriners Children's could have easily just sent me home and had another appointment, but they made sure to keep me there until every single one of my questions were answered. So a year had passed since this appointment. I had been up to the hospital a few times for routine checkups, but there weren't any huge developments. That wasn't until the summer of 8th grade. We were cleaning out our garage, and I suddenly felt a tightening pain that was inexplainable. It was something I had never experienced in my entire life. I hadn't thought much of it until a few weeks later when it still hadn't gone away. At my next appointment, I had brought up the pain, and immediately we began talking about surgery. Major spinal fusion surgery is such a scary set of words, and to hear them being talked about as a potential option at 14 was quite the bombshell. Despite this, they were 100% transparent about every one of my options. The doctors always spoke to me in a respectful way and made sure that my voice was heard. I always felt like I was getting all the necessary details to help me understand everything that was to come. And with all these details and some time to think, I was able to make an informed decision. I decided to go forward with the surgery. So in October of that year, I found myself back at the hospital getting ready for the surgery. I knew all of the risks, and I knew all of the things that could possibly go wrong, but I also knew that the surgery was more than needed, and that Shriners Children's Portland was the best place for me to get the surgery. The bulk of my care that I received from Shriners Children's took place throughout the month of October and extended into November. In total, I had 3 surgeries over the course of 3 weeks, off and on. During this time, I spent lots of time with nurses, doctors, and CNAs that truly cared about me and who connected with me on a personal level. After my surgery and initial recovering time, I went home to continue my recovery. Unfortunately, I had to immediately go back the next day due to an infection on the site of the incision. I'll spare a lot of the gross details for your sake, but this moment was incredibly scary for me and my family. The 2 surgeries that followed were both to deal with the infection. While it may have felt inconvenient at the moment, I don't think I would have wanted it handled any other way. The surgeons made sure to be as thorough as possible to make sure that down the line, I would be the best version of myself. And that's something I will always appreciate. Now, I could stand here and talk for hours about the amazing experience that I had during my time in inpatient clinic, but unfortunately, we don't have time for that. However, I want you all to know that your donations help kids like me get the care they need, regardless of ability to pay. Shriners Children's Portland makes sure to support their patients on both a physical and emotional level, the latter of which is something you don't often get at any regular hospital. If it weren't for that surgery and the care I received, I would still be in pain and probably wouldn't even be able to stand up here like I'm doing right now. I sincerely appreciate you all for being here and donating to this incredible organization. Your money changes lives as it did mine, so thank you all.